With Alfie away on his holidays, I'm stepping in for today's video. With Vincent Kompany joining his boyhood club Anderlecht as player-manager,
Barcelona and Celtic legend Henrik Larsson is also rumoured to be moving to Southend United of all teams, so it seems fitting to compare 7 legendary players who failed as managers. Paul Scholes. Paul Scholes was surely one of the best midfielders in English football history when he retired in 2013, winning Champions Leagues and every trophy in England. Stints as a pundit followed before taking the plunge at League Two Oldham, his boyhood club. With a former football agent in Abdullah Lemsam running the club, Scholes was hardly supported in the way he'd like. However, a run of 1 win in 7 was very mediocre, and Oldham was 0 positions better off than they were when he took over, sitting in 14th. His 31 days in charge left no one wishing he'd come back a second time, like he did at United. Tony Adams. Everyone remembers Tony Adams for being a rock at the back for Arsenal, for being a captain, a leader, and also doing some weird dance training thing when he was at Granada. His time at Granada was abysmal, losing all 7 games, and the team only scoring 3. The club got relegated that season. The only salvation is the club rejected the chance to sign Nigel Reo-Coker and Kieran Richardson, players that Tony Adams recommended. Before Granada, Adams managed in Azerbaijan, achieving a win record of less than 50% at Qibala FK. Adams' managerial peak came at the start of his career, when he managed Portsmouth. Somehow he got a draw at home against AC Milan in the UEFA Cup. Tony Adams managed players like Sean Davies, Nadir Belhaj and Glenn Little to draw against Ancelotti's AC Milan, who had players like Kaká, Ronaldinho, Inzaghi and Clarence Seedorf in the side. Things went downhill for Adams that season with a lack of goals and poor performances. He got sacked soon after with 2 wins out of 16. Graeme Souness. Graeme Souness was one of the best midfielders in Liverpool history. A tough tackling, ball-winning midfielder with an eye for goal. He won 5 league championships, 3 European Cups and 4 League Cups as a player. However, as a manager, he was seen as harsh, lacking in tactical subtlety and using dated tactics. Liverpool fans saw him replace reliable goals in Dean Saunders with one of the biggest flops in Liverpool history, Paul Stewart. Paul Stewart scored 1 goal in 32. Yes, 1 goal in 32 games. At Newcastle, he replaced Sir Bobby Robson. No mean feat. But things went from bad to worse when the club finished 5th under Sir Bobby Robson and 14th near relegation under Graeme Souness. Maybe the biggest failure was refusing the option to sign a young Deco while he was manager at Benfica. At least he's got punditry to fall back on, being a fan's favourite for upbeat analysis on Sky Sports. Oh wait, yeah. I'll be making a top 7 worst pundits list soon, don't worry. Alan Shearer. Alan Shearer is the highest goal scorer in Premier League history, and when he turned down approaches from Man United to join his boyhood club Newcastle at the peak of his playing career, he was installed as an icon of the North East. However, Toon fans were surely in shock when in a bid to survive in the Premier League, he only got 5 points from a possible 24. He could have still achieved survival on the final day with a win against Aston Villa, but they lost 1-0. They finished 1 point behind Phil Brown's Hull. Yes, this Phil Brown, this Hull. Alan hasn't managed since, and he spent more time rowing with Michael Owen. Gary Neville. Gary Neville was proof that you can be a world-class player, eloquent as a pundit, and maybe even a decent second coach at international level, but still be an awful, awful manager. Valencia wanted someone to galvanise them, to qualify for the Champions League again, and guide them through the Champions League group that they were in. He failed at doing both. His record was so bad that his first game in charge of Valencia, they got knocked out of the Champions League, and eventually they dropped 6 points above relegation. Barcelona came up and beat them 7-0, and that wasn't even the worst result, which says it all. Sporting Gijón came to Valencia with 0 away wins in 8. They must have seen Gary Neville on the touchline and been full of confidence. They came away with a 1-0 win. Neville was booed by Valencia fans and celebrated by Liverpool fans, watching the ex-Man United player fail. It was a really weird appointment. It was equally as bizarre and hilarious, and it was great for football fans to watch. Valencia fans must shudder at the thought that it wasn't just one Neville in charge of the club, but 2. Hristo Stoichkov. Part of Barcelona's dream team under Johan Cruyff, and is regarded as a national hero in Bulgaria. He won the Ballon d'Or in 1994, and even led Bulgaria to a semi-final appearance at the 1994 World Cup. However, as a coach, he claimed that he didn't believe in tactics. He nearly lost one World Cup qualifier to Malta, playing a 2-4-4 formation. Stints at CSK Sofia, in Vietnam and even in South Africa came to nothing. If your mate Gary from the pub could manage your Sunday league team into a solid 4-4-2 formation and pick up a scrappy 1-0 win, and you think Stoichkov would struggle with that, you know why the gunslinger is not cut out for life in the dugout. Diego Maradona. Maradona is quite possibly the best footballer of all time, and despite his off-field antics, he's considered a god in Argentina for his World Cup heroics. With a generational talent pool including Tevez, Messi, Higuain, Aguero, Di Maria and even Di Michaelis, only joking, to choose from, Argentina chose Maradona to manage this group of players to glory in the 2010 World Cup, even though he had essentially zero management experience. They got through their World Cup group, winning all their games. When they came up against good opposition in Germany, the side capitulated. If you can't get Lionel Messi, who scored nearly 50 goals in all competitions that season, to even score once, you know your time as manager is not quite right. However, Diego's now managing again in Argentina and trying to convince former retired footballer Dani Osvaldo to leave his rock band and join him at Gimnasia La Plata. I wish I was joking. Diego, if you watch this, please, please, please stay in management. It's so fun. That's been our 7 legendary players to fail as manager. Leave a comment below for anyone I might have missed out, and make sure to like the video. We'll see you guys soon.